Good morning, everybody. We're back on FS25 on the U.S. map. We're gonna help Grandpa out. Maybe listen to some of his old radio classics while we chill. Mash some buttons, ring the bell to get notified. Let's go.
All around the world, farmers know farming is an art. Like life, we know it can be hard. And it can be surprising, too. But sometimes it's about being at the right place at the right time. A wise man once said that the best lessons are learned under the wide open sky. I think the same thing can be said about our art. Yeah, it can be messy, but it's always beautiful. So beautiful it can help you see yourself and the world in all new ways. In the art of farming, the soil is the canvas, the seeds are the paint, and the harvest is the masterpiece.
Hey, this is pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty darn good. Is it missing something? You're too cute to eat. Maybe some fresh spinach for a change?
Alright, first let's see if we got any new DLC stuff. Mods. Ooh, this got bigger. Plant and terraform anywhere. That one we added. Great fields with cultivator. Oh, that's not bad. Let's go ahead and add that. Park vehicle's been here. Greenhouse automatic watering, that was here the other day. We did not add that, we're good on that. Guaranteed crop prices. Extended leasing. Oh, this makes it realistic leasing. Interesting. For your realism folks out there. Or want a new twist. Automatic turn lights, we already showed that one off. That should be base game, I don't know why it is. Alarm bells early, that's been here. Round bell extension, that's been there. Willie, I think that's a newer one. Realistic cab view. Info section. I don't know if this is necessary though. Special offers, that one's been here before. Shows your stuff at the top of the clock that's been here. Oh, that's been here, alright. Shed packs, we already showed those off. Let's see, we got subsoilers. New subsoiler. This looks nice, it's 3 meters. Don't need that. We got a mulcher. Yeah, I'll install that. That looks kind of cool. Fertilizer spreader tank. Adds another 1,100 liters to your capacity. Actually doesn't look bad. We'll check it out. Slurry tank, we already have that one. These are interesting weights. When you put them down, it goes on palleted form. Easier to find your pallets. If you guys like to torture yourself, you can carry a bucket of 100 liters to a feed or whatever to your animals. So you got bell storage, that's a newer one. And sheds and storages, we bought this one to replace the one we have. There's a mineral silo which sells mineral feed, seed, and fertilizer and lime. Although from what I understand, it charges more than what you pay at the shop. What's up, Mark? How you doing? These are nice, little addition here. Got some new and used, or new and old little fuel tankers, gravity fed. Got a bunker pallet cage. This one's been in here for a couple days. Got a bunch of new sheds in here. Then under decoration, you got placeable hedges. These are nice. Concrete rings, those are nice. I downloaded those. These are good if you have really soft land and you need to sturdy it up. It's playing on Zelanka. That actually looks like Zelanka could use this mod. Or might actually install that. Then you got scrap stuff for around your farm. And then under miscellaneous, let's see what we got. Only thing new here is this workstation. For your workshop. Doesn't take up much land, it's actually pretty decent. And that's what's going on with your mods. Love you too, buddy. Hope you're having a good day, Mark. I figured I couldn't sleep, so I get on here and mess around a little bit before I gotta get up and get doing a lot of things. It's too early. People are still sleeping in the house. So we're gonna come and hang out with you awesome folks. Alright, we got a lot of stuff to move. Looks like the snow's starting to go away. We'll clean up the yard a bit, organized. This is stuff that needs to get transported to the farm for our bigger tractors, including that wrap for belling. But we got to get some material loaded up here, folks. Working a third shift here tonight. Gonna load up some trailers and get some stuff delivered. Oh, we got sell stuff. What do we got in here? Oh, that's pretty cool. Let's see, that's a forage wagon. I don't think we've used one of those before. Oh, it's a MacDon. Do we need 2 MacDons? I really don't know if we need one, 2, but that's a damn good price. 7% off. Oh, this is it's just a tow behind wagon. It's a new brand there. Don't think we're gonna need that guy. We don't have a chaffer. That would be cool for a chaffer, maybe. Oh, this MacDon. Should we get another one? I don't know. You know what? We're gonna buy it. Good morning, driver. Potato harvester. Should we get into potatoes? Huh. How much is it? 44% off. That's a good buy too. Ah, bloody hell, these sell prices are kicking me in the butt. Guess we're getting into potato business too. This can be our mowing one. I know that the shop talked me into some last minute purchases that I did not plan on doing. Let's go get this stuff loaded up. So, planks long. We need 5 of those. Beams, we're going to need 5 of those. And then we need cement bags. I think we need 3 of those. So the concrete bags for Grandpa's project, this is all going to the museum. Yeah, just another beautiful day here. Oh, you know what? I hope you guys I don't know if you guys like old school radio, but Grandpa got me hooked on this, so let's bump that right quick. We got some Johnny Dollar here.
Now for Edmund O'Brien as yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Edmund O'Brien, starring in another adventure of America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator, Johnny Dollar. At insurance investigation, Johnny Dollar is only an expert. At making out his expense account, he's an absolute genius. Expense account, submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Great Columbian Life Insurance Company. The following is an accounting of my expenditures during the investigation of the circumstances surrounding the murder of your policyholder, Loyal B. Martin, or how to take a vacation in Fairfield County. Expense account, item 1. $3.20 mileage from Hartford, Connecticut to the country estate of the deceased. I drove up a long cement driveway toward the mausoleum-type manor house. There were rolling green lawns liberally sprinkled with statuary, and the thought occurred to me that if he had spent much of his life here, the late Mr. Martin was most fortunate. He'd feel right at home in a cemetery.
Yes?
My name is Dollar. I'm here to see Mrs. Martin.
Oh, yes. Mrs. Martin.
Uh-huh.
I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you. The widow has gone shopping the day after the death of her husband. Something attractive in mourning clothes, I'm sure.
Well, what time is she expected back?
I have no idea. It shouldn't be long.
Do you mind if I come in and wait?
You'll forgive my asking, young man, but just what is your business here at Loyal Haven?
I was sent here by the insurance company.
Oh, why, yes. Do come in. Here, right in here. I'm Miss Tompkins, the housekeeper, Mr. Dollar. I was with Mr. Martin for over 30 years. He was a wonderful man.
This furniture also looks like it might have been with Mr. Martin for over 30 years. Victorian, isn't it?
Yes, pure. Loyal. Mr. Martin, that is, was an expert on the Victorian period.
Thank you.
Mr. Dollar, I it's delicate of me at this time, but about Loyal's insurance, his policies. Did they...
Yes, Mrs. Tompkins, they did. One of his policies leaves you a nice, sizable amount. But before you start counting it, maybe you and I had better have a little understanding.
Yeah?
Well, I'm not here to represent the payoff department. I'm here to investigate the murder.
Oh, I see.
And before the company pays off, they want to make sure that among the beneficiaries, they don't pay off the murderer. Because they really don't have to do it.
I didn't realize.
No, neither do a lot of people. You know, that's the way quite a few good murders are with.
Yes, I suppose you're right. Well, here's what I told you want to talk to the police. Lieutenant Markwood is in the library. That's where it happened.
Oh, library, huh? Well, that might help. If I can't find any other answers, I can always try looking some up in a book. Where do I go?
The door, just across the hall.
Thank you. And what a hall. The only thing missing was old Queen Victoria herself. Even the musty odor clinging to the green velvet seemed to have been passed down through the centuries. There was a brace of moth-eaten pheasants on the wall and a bouquet of moth-eaten flowers under glass on a marble-top-side table. The library was the same, but there were three things that looked out of place. A, an old suit of armor. B, a glass case filled with new, well-polished sporting rifles and shotguns. And C, a very gruff-looking lieutenant of the police who eyed me as I came in.
And who are you?
Well, here's my little breath saver.
Oh, yeah, Johnny Dollar. They told me you'd be here. Well, I've told everybody else I better tell you don't touch anything. They want to re-fingerprint the whole room.
Okay. What'd you find, Lieutenant?
Nothing but the cadaver with 2 bullet holes in his back. Haven't got a caliber report from ballistics yet.
Have you an estimated time of departure?
Yeah, the coroner says Martin died after dinner last night.
Anything to go on?
Just the usual. Faith, hope, and suspicion. His wife, too young and too pretty for an ugly old buck like Martin. But they married him for his money. Then there's that housekeeper, Sarah Tompkins.
Yeah, I met her on the way in.
Well, she used to be the old man's intended, from what I can find out. Probably jealous of the young wife. Then there's the brother, Marty. He showed up a few weeks ago, broken, brooding. Probably in love with the young wife. And then there's Nick Bellotti, a private detective who hired himself out as Martin's bodyguard.
Bodyguard, huh? No doubt also in love with the young wife.
Could be.
Who's your choice?
Except for the fact that there are only 2 bullets, I think they all did it.
The nose through which Lieutenant Mark would talk was a long one, and in more ways than one, a horn of plenty, for out of it had poured enough motives and suspects to furnish a dozen murders. I started through this cast of characters and found that all of them had very little to say and didn't want to say it. The first I dug up was the bodyguard, my brother investigator, Nick Bellotti, as he returned from a horseback ride.
Glad to have you on the case, Dollar. Police have tied my hands. They told me to stay out of it, but to stick around.
You got any ideas?
Everybody seems to think it was an inside job, that somebody in the household did it. I'm not so sure. The reason I was around was because old man Martin made too many dollars and too many enemies doing it. But that's only my opinion. Why don't you talk to the old boy's younger brother, Marty?
I found Marty living the life of Riley. He was upstairs in his room, cuddled up to a 20-year-old bottle of brandy, which was still underage to be around the kind of book he was reading.
Yeah, I'll tell you something, Dollar. My brother and I never did get along. You'd find that out anyway.
Why'd you come back here, Marty?
Because Loyal's little bride, Joanne, sent for me. She was afraid of him, and she didn't know if he was on to her.
Was he?
About that, you'll have to talk to Joanne.
Joanne didn't get home until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I caught up with her 20 minutes later as she came dripping out of the swimming pool. The suit she was wearing would have gotten her pinched on the Riviera.
Oh, that was refreshing.
Certainly is.
Toss me that towel, will you?
Yeah, surely. Here, Mrs. Martin.
Joyanne. I hate formality. Who are you?
Well, I'm from the insurance company, here to find out whether you killed your husband or not.
You, Mr. Dollar. That's what I like. Men who get right down to the point. I was told you were here.
Oh? Nobody told me about you.
Oh, come on over and learn. I want to sit out here in the sun. Here, you man the fly swatter.
Okay.
Come on, sit down. Here, beside me. If it gets too warm, slip off your shirt.
Thank you. Well, suppose we start talking business. Marty tells me you sent for him to come here because you were afraid of your husband. How come?
Well, I knew Marty before I knew Royal. Matter of fact, he's the one who introduced me to him. What do you say?
Call him unlucky, I guess. Anyway, for the purposes of this conversation, I'll know who you mean if you just say husband. But you didn't answer my question. I meant, were you afraid of your spouse? If so, why?
Yes, I was afraid of him. I'm going to tell you, Mr. Dollar. I want to be frank with you. The only thing Loyal didn't have to offer me was love. I seemed to be a girl who needs just that. Frankly, I tried to make up the deficit. Mrs. Tompkins, the housekeeper, saw to it that my husband found out about it. From then on, it was like living with a madman. So endeth my confession.
So beginneth my suspicion. What about this housekeeper?
Until I came along, she always thought that Loyal would wind up marrying her. Oh, don't get me wrong. I realize that I'm still the best jury bait around.
If you killed him. You might make some headway with a self-defense plea.
Thanks. I remember that. In the meantime, you hope to send this message for me. And no signs. I'm going to spend what's left of my free time enjoying myself.
Well, that won't sound good to a jury, but it sounds good to me. If I spend too much time around here, I might wind up having to plead self-defense myself.
Oh? From me?
No. In that bathing suit.
Alright, we're gonna drop this one off at the shop because it's got more stuff
to keep 2 eyes on 4 people.
to get loaded,
Reading from left
and
to
we're gonna
right.
take the other one
Brother
to
Marty
where
stayed
it
in
needs
his
to be.
room finishing his book and his brandy. Nick Bellotti, the bodyguard with no body to guard, got back on his horse and cantered off into the sunset. The joyous widow, Joy Ann, locked herself in her room, and all I could get through the keyhole was the sound of a light and lovely snore. I couldn't tell whether it was the genuine article or not. Having no way of checking, I picked up the trail of Sarah Tompkins, the housekeeper. She, at least, was apparently up to no good. I found her in the library, doing just what Lieutenant Markwood had told her not to do, smearing the surfaces of Mr. Martin's desk with a dust rag. And as anybody knows, you can't fingerprint a dust rag. Hey, cut it out!
Private study.
Those are the police private fingerprints you're messing up.
Nothing of the sort. I'll duck you in. Always do it at this time of day. Get out of here. You don't belong here.
Keep your wig on, Mrs. Tompkins.
I'm not be told what to do by outsiders. Everything was all right until outsiders started coming in. If it wasn't for outsiders, Loyal would still be alive. First that girl, then his brother and that detective. Now it's the police and you. Why did any of you have to come here? Why couldn't you leave us alone?
Calm down, Mrs. Tompkins. Try to calm down.
Yeah, now, what's going on in here? What? Oh, and what are you 2 lovebirds up to?
All right, Lieutenant. I'll tell you about it later.
All right, but get her out of here. I've got some looking to do privately. Take her down to her room and then come back.
And you got something hot?
It ain't cold.
Okay, Mrs. Tompkins, come on.
But I haven't finished in there.
Come on, you can get it later. There's just time for you to take a little rest before dinner.
But I never rest this time of day. He didn't like me to.
Mrs. Tompkins, come on, tell me. Really, why were you wiping off that desk?
Those fools this morning scattered white powder all over his desk. He would have been furious with me. He hated any kind of...
The shots had come from the library, and that's where I went, but not fast enough. By the time I got there, Lieutenant Markwood was dead, and whoever had done the shooting was gone, apparently through an open window. Markwood still clutched the shotgun he grabbed out of the gun case. Hadn't had a chance to use.
So this is going to the museum for construction work.
And a hot piece of evidence he'd never had the chance to pass on to me.
In just a moment, we return to the second act of Johnny Dollar. But first, the cream of the wit and the best of the music, which Arthur Godfrey brings you in the daytime on CBS, can now be heard on Godfrey's Digest, a new Saturday evening show heard on most of these same CBS stations. Listen tomorrow night and hear the week's fastest flashes of the Godfrey humor, the top songs sung by Jeanette Davis and Bill Lawrence, the finest singing of the Mariners. Arthur Godfrey's Digest and the Goldbergs are the latest addition to CBS's Great Saturday Night. Now, with our star, Edmund O'Brien, we return to the second act of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Hey, what happened?
Oh, Markwood.
Yeah, dead.
Oh, what are you doing, fella?
I'm looking for what there seems to be a shortage of around here, Bellotti. Clues.
You don't mind where you look, do you? Rule number 1, don't get caught frisking dead cops.
Forget about it, Bellotti, will you? Maybe I can suffer from lapse of memory for you sometime.
That's the deal. Got any idea what you're looking for?
No. But whatever it was important enough to get him killed. I'd hope maybe there'd be something in his notebook, for instance.
Any luck?
Well, very little. It's a brand new book. Only one notation is. Here it is. Check tattooing diameter. Recheck penetration. What do you make of that?
It's too scientific for me. I'm a skip case and divorce type detective myself. All I know is you'd better put that book back in his pocket and leave it there.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Nice timing, Bellotti, and remember, thanks for the loss of memory.
Forget it.
Hey, what happened? What's going on here?
Lord, Lieutenant Martin. Who did it?
Dealer's choice. So far, the dealer's the only one who knows.
First my brother, now Lieutenant Markwood. There'll be real trouble about this.
Johnny, shall I call the police?
Drop the innocent access to him, or I'll call them.
No, maybe I better do it, Marty.
If everybody will stop pleading not guilty by wanting to call the police, I'd like to get a word in. The police have already been called. Now, if you'll get out of here, I'd like to try earning my salary. If I had had longer ears and more soulful eyes, I would have been all bloodhound, because I could sniff out the first of the trail. The smell of cordite told me that Lieutenant Markwood's killer had either been inside the room when he fired, or just outside with the weapon pointed through the still open window. Outside, the grass formed a deep, wet rug right up to the house and smothered any immediate hopes I'd had of finding footsteps. But 10 feet away, I had better luck. A ray of light from inside spotlighted something that looked like it might be a star witness. It was a .32 caliber revolver.
Damn, I need 5 more? I just brought 5.
And went back through the open window to look it over.
Oh, you know what? I wonder.
Under the light, I checked 6 empty chambers and a crimson smear on the
We're
wall.
gonna bounce out the gaming mouse back in.
Somebody was feeding me a herring. It sure was red. But it wasn't blood. It was lipstick.
I'd like to introduce myself, Dollar. I'm Sergeant Norman McDougal.
How are you, Sergeant?
Poor Mark. Thank the Lord he didn't have any wife and kids.
I'm glad to hear that. Cops usually do.
One good thing about it, when a police officer goes, there's plenty of them that lives on to fight back. All the police in the world.
You can throw in the private ones, too, Sergeant.
Thanks, Dollar. And now maybe I'd better take your statement.
Well, it won't take long. I heard the shot from the hallway, and I came back. He was killed either from inside the room or just outside the window. I didn't get a look at the killer, but I found what might be the murder gun. Here it is. Watch that handkerchief.
32 caliber.
Yeah, how does that match up with the gun that killed old man Martin, do you know?
Same caliber.
You are more,
What
Travis.
he's doing with this shotgun. It ain't loaded, and Markwood knew better than to wave an unloaded gun in the face of a full one.
Did you get anything else out of ballistics, Sergeant?
Headache. Dollar, what we got from ballistics don't add up with what we got from autopsy.
Well, how's that?
Those 2 slugs entered Martin's body an inch and a half apart. But, according to the shallow penetration, were fired from a distance of 300 yards. Do you know anybody who would do that kind of shooting with a .32?
That's pretty fancy shooting. Could it have been done with a stationary mount?
No, not a chance. The body would have started falling after the first shot. And you can't re-aim a stationary mount that fast.
Yeah, you're right. You know, I didn't have a chance to spend much time with Markwood before he got it, so I don't have much to work on. Do you got anything to spare?
Just a lot of routine confusion so far. You know yourself, Dollar. You take 4 witnesses, you're bound to get at least 2 different stories. 2 of the people that heard the shooting when Martin got killed last night said they heard 2 shots. The other 2 earwitnesses said they heard 1. The only thing the whole 4 agree on is that they didn't see anything.
No, that sounds familiar. Thanks anyway, Sergeant.
Sure, anytime. Hey, Sam. Take this gun into town. Tell ballistics to run it through for fingerprints and check it against those slugs in the Martin case. I want to report right away.
I hitched the ride with that gun into the ballistics department. While waiting for the test to be made, I asked some questions, and I came up with a real brain buster. Despite the fact that the penetration report said that Martin had been shot from a distance of 300 yards, his skin and clothing had been tattooed with powder, indicating the shots had been fired at close range. The tree that little puzzler put me up would have made the giant redwood forest look like a hedge. Then they gave me the ballistic report. The lands and grooves scored into the slugs by the revolver barrel proved that both Loyal Martin and Lieutenant Markwood had been killed by the .32 caliber gun I'd picked up in the yard. No prints on it. Registered owner, the young lady who looked much better in a bathing suit than she'd ever looked in the electric chair. The widow, Joyanne Martin. Oh, Dollar, I want to talk to you.
Oh, I'll be with you in a second. I'm just out of the shower.
Okay. First she was in the pool, now it's the shower. She's also in plenty of hot water.
Hi. Don't pay any attention to my hair.
Don't worry, I won't.
I suppose you think it's a silly time of night for me to be taking a shower, but I thought it might help me to get to sleep.
Well, I'm afraid I won't.
Why, Johnny.
You were pretty careless with that gun, weren't you?
What gun?
That handy little .32 caliber gun with a handy little registration number engraved on
we
it.
need another 5 of each. Oh, that's stupid. All right.
You bought it 6 weeks ago.
I guess. We'll check on it when we sleep.
It's real gun. Done gone and killed 2 men so far. And if you can't do some fast talking and some fast proving, stands a good chance of shortening your pretty little life expectancy.
Somebody must have stolen it.
Oh, that's not even a down payment on it, though.
But, Johnny, there's a whole house full of people who could have done it. Not only that, they'd be glad to get me out of the way if they could.
Why?
No, it's Thompson, because she hates Royal's brother Marty, because I stand to inherit everything.
What about Nick Bellotti? Doesn't he have an axe to grind?
I don't know what it could be.
Tell me, you remember hearing 2 shots being fired around here any time before your husband was killed? Probably away from the house? Because I want to know, did you?
You amaze me. Yes, I did hear 2 shots. The day before Loyal was killed. Horseback riding down by the walnut grove. I remember because my horse shied.
Well, this is coming a bit too readily to be readily believed. How big is that walnut grove?
Not very big.
Yeah? Can you spot those shots a little closer?
It sounded as if they came from the middle. I didn't stay to find out. I guess I was frightened.
Yeah. Yeah, you frightened me easily.
Why, Johnny?
Why? I'll tell you why. Because whether you shot anybody or not, you'll know that they...
I didn't see it. Got to believe in it.
I don't have to. But just on this, I will. What is there about police drivers? Even out in the country, they got to lay on those sirens.
Johnny, please.
Come on, you better get dressed, sweetheart. I told them I'd keep you occupied till they got here.
Why,
The police took Joyanne and her hurt feelings off to the poker. I took myself and my hurt cheek off to bed. The next thing I had to do had to be done by daylight. So I took over Joyanne's painfully empty and prettily perfumed sack, set the alarm for dawn, and snort up a storm. I never knew before how much went on in the country so early in the morning. On the way to the walnut grove, the damp air washed the cobwebs out of my head, and I started thinking. Now, first, Royal Martin had been found dead with 2 bullet holes in him. Yet 2 of the witnesses, Joyanne and the housekeeper, Mrs. Tompkins, had heard only 1 shot. Second, that powder burn tattooing on the body, denoting a close-range killing, was in violent argument with a bullet penetration report which screamed long-range killing. Those facts, added to what was in Lieutenant Markwood's notebook, plus that shotgun clutched in his dead hand, came close to tallying up the total that had cost him his life. Inside the grove, I found 4 walnut trees with hollows in their trunks. The first one gave me a handful of nuts and a fancy sassing by an irate squirrel. The second one came up with a handful of spunk water and a wet cuff. And the third, I found what I was looking for. I found about 2 pecks of clean cotton waste. That is, clean, except for some powder burn. Everything was falling into place, including a blunt instrument which hit me on the head from behind. But before I hit the ground, I saw Brother Marty Martin legging it back towards the house. I made it up the house and up the hill and onto the trail, and was just starting up the stairs when I heard another out-of-season 4th of July.
I got him.
Yeah. So I see.
In self-defense, I had to do it. I hated to butt in on your case, but all of a sudden everything stacked up and I knew he was your man. When I threw it in his teeth, he made a try for his gun, so I dropped him.
Sure did, Bellotti. Well, I owe you a lot of thanks. But if you don't mind, I'll take over from here.
Sure, help yourself.
Good. And, I think the first thing you'd better do is hightail it into town, get your story filed with the police.
Yeah, I guess you're right. You're all straight now, so you can back me up.
100%, Nick, all the way.
Double
Get
down.
going. Come on.
Okay, Dollar, see you later.
There we go. Looks like it seems to be handling it just fine. Yeah.
Sergeant Norman McDougal.
Yes, sir. Sergeant McDougal.
Johnny Dollar, Sergeant.
Oh, yeah, Dollar. What new?
Well, just another corpse. And in just about 15 minutes, the guy who made it one and conspired on the other 2 killings is going to walk right into your arms through the station house door.
What? Who is it?
Nick Bellotti, New York private license. He just shot his partner in this thing, Marty Martin.
You're crazy. What about this girl? It was her gun.
That was their fondest hope, Sergeant, to pin it on her. They borrowed her gun, fired 2 slugs from it into some cotton waste, and took the slugs and stuck them in a shotgun shell. 1 shot, just like both ladies said they heard. The shotgun Lieutenant Martin was looking at when he died was really the Martin murder weapon.
That takes care of the powder burn and the shallow penetration, yeah. Well, thanks a lot, Dollar. I'll be waiting for him. Wait a minute. What's he walking in here for under his own power?
To tell you an early morning bedtime story, just before you go off duty. He'll give you a pitch about a self-defense killing. It's a lie. The victim wasn't carrying a gun. If he had been, he would have used it on me. But he didn't. He used the sat. The sat. Expense account, item 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. $624 entertainment. Appeasing a rich widow with rich taste. Expense account, items 1 through 13 inclusive, $160 entertainment of poor insurance investigator with extravagant taste. Expense account, item 14, $7.80 mileage New York to Hartford. You may disagree with that item, claiming that I finished the case in Fairfield County, but I didn't finish the case until I left her. And New York City is where I left her. Expense account total, $823. Signed, yours, truly,
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, stars Edmund O'Brien in the title role and is written by Paul Dudley and Gil Dowd, with music composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Edmund O'Brien can currently be seen starring in the Harry M. Popkin United Artists production, DOA. Featured in our cast were Irene Tedrow, Walter Burke, Ted DeCorsia, John Daner, Gene Bates, and Ed Begley. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, is produced and directed by Jaime Del Valle. Join us again next week when Edmund O'Brien returns in another adventure of...
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Ladies and gentlemen, CBS invites you to hear Senator Brian McMahon on the Capitol cloakroom over most of these same Columbia stations tomorrow night. Senator McMahon is chairman of the Joint Congressional Committee on Atomic Energy. And when he's interviewed by CBS newsmen Eric Severide, Bill Shadell, and Griffin Bancroft, this will be the first detailed discussion of the hydrogen bomb and its implications. remember the first discussion by a high government official and President Truman's historic announcement earlier this week. Remember that CBS's Capitol Cloakroom, tomorrow night at 10:30 p.m. over most of these same CBS stations. Be sure and be listening. This is CBS, where incidentally, Arthur Godfrey's Digestive Wit and Humor is also heard every Saturday night. The Columbia Broadcasting...
I don't know who let that Sinz guy in here, that knucklehead.
Time now for Edmund O'Brien as truly Johnny Dollar. Edmund O'Brien in another The Adventures of the Man with an Action-Packed Expense Account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator, Johnny Dollar.
Alright, let's see if it'll start working now. Jesus Christ.
Expense account. Submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Home Office, Intercontinental Marine Insurance Company, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of my expenditures during my assignment aboard the SS Malay Trader, the ship with no port of call. Expense account, item 1, $80. Transportation from Hartford to Savannah, Georgia, where, after pausing only to grow a beard and deck myself out in seaman's garb, I proceeded to the local hiring hall of the Seamen's Union.
So I got witnesses. I got 6,000 liters of each in here.
Yes, okay. All right, we'll put the call right through right away. Ma'am, what is it?
The name is Dollar. I'm signing on the Malay Trader. Ordinary seaman, special permit.
Special, huh? Well, let me see now. Oh, yes, here it is. Insurance deck, huh? Well, I'm glad to cooperate, Dollar.
Thanks. Where do I find the ship?
Pier 8. Directions will all be here on your assignment slip. What's the beef? A hot cargo?
Oh, maybe. When I find out, you can read about it.
Okay, so you're not talking. That's your business. Here's your slip. Now, the best way to get there is to follow the railroad tracks past the warehouses right across the street.
Home when I found her was neither pretentious, comfortable, or even seaworthy. She was a rusty old Liberty ship that probably had a war record, but hadn't had a coat of paint in months. Her winches fore and aft were busy feeding heavy rattan-covered bales into a gaping hole. Her decks were alive with longshoremen, and set against all that activity, a bulky gent wearing an officer's cap lolled on a stool near the head of the gangway, idling time with fingernails and a penknife.
Yeah? What's your business?
Signing on. Where do I find the chief officer?
You found him. I'm all set. Let me see you. Yeah. Okay, Dollar. You're on the, 48 watch, quarters to 3A. Just past the galley, then aft starboard side. Put up your dear. Sign later. Right.
So far, spy-story methods seem to be working. I was aboard the ship as a seaman, and a few seconds later, I was shaking hands with the man who shared my quarters.
Alright, this thing is
on a salary for 4 years.
broken.
Intercontinental's marine investigator. Hi, Al.
Hey, it's been a long time. How are you?
I'm fine. It's good to be working a case for you. Hey, is it all right to talk in here?
Yeah. Let's keep it down. I've been on the substance that left Singapore, but nobody's on to me yet. Play it cagey. How much did they tell you when you got the old Hartford?
Well, they gave me just the basic situation. Intercontinental insured a bunch of crude rubber from British Malay. Afforded the valuation of the British pound. Half of it, I understand, burned in a warehouse.
That's the Juniper
over 100,000 insurance bucks. Flew out there, signed the license, no proof. I followed the other half of the crop here to Savannah.
The company's owned. Relay trade. Kind of enough.
You know, Angels. Been up against British customs a few times. Never nailed. They own their ships, and the branch here, headed by a Mr. Pila, imports basic commodities, like the rough minerals. Well, the point is that since this crude was insured before the British pound dropped, they can bring in more loot destroying it than they can selling it.
Yeah, I guess that's so. And I take it the policy covers until they do so.
That's it. I thought we were getting rid of it here. They packed it away in their warehouse. Within 3 days, they started loading it aboard again. That's why you were sent.
Matter how. You think the company trusts you?
I guess they figure I need help. And they're right. Where do you think we're bound?
Well, my paper's at Corpus Christi.
The scuttlebutt is that Corpus is just a stop. That we clear there for Mexico, Veracruz, where arson investigation isn't what it could be. After that operation in Singapore, what else would they be looking for?
Fellas, you in there?
Yeah?
Oh, staff. Ship's articles are in the company office, corner of the warehouse. Go ashore, son.
Yeah, okay, right away. Sir?
Nice try, Sailor. Oh, and you'll take a word of fatherly advice.
Well, practically anything you say. Go ahead.
That girl in the office, a Malaya and half-caste, she's the boss's daughter. Ah, my.
Oh, my. Is that for appreciation, or is it her name?
Both. But save your dreams. The chief, Frank Falstaff, is as possessive as he's big. And you know something? I don't blame him.
I didn't blame Falstaff either after I saw our eyes. You could tell she had enough Occidental know-how to be proud of what the Oriental did to her looks. Ah, my, indeed.
Good afternoon.
Hello. I'm here to sign the article.
On the Malay trade. What please do you need?
Dollar. Johnny Dollar.
Dollar. Are you a very thrifty man, Mr. Dollar?
Hardly. My name is usually the only one I have tonight.
You're thinking of me. I wish I was sailing with you.
What? What did you say?
That I wish I was sailing with you. I've stayed with my father. But he would not let me go with him.
Oh. His father's going with him, huh? I didn't know that.
I would beg some more. One thing you might see. You have a nice house, Mr. Dollar.
Nice hat? Now, why'd you say that?
I see so many hands here on my face. Oh, I noticed it. Some are big and nice. Some are short, some are dirty. In the sewage department, some are clean from dishwashing, but all wrinkly.
Well, I'd better get back to the ship, thanks.
Thank you. We hope that the conditions during your voyage will make you feel approval, and that you will accept employment as Malay trader here.
And with those memorized words ringing in my ear, I thanked the luscious Amai again and proceeded shipward to take up my duties as a very ordinary seaman. I hoped that her interest in my landlubber hand really stemmed from her unusual hobby and not from suspicion. And I wondered why Mr. Peeler, her father, and the local head of the suspect company had decided to go with her. Had his doctor ordered a sea voyage for his health? Or did he want to enjoy in person the odor of burning rubber? The next afternoon, the cargo had all been brought aboard. The ship was made ready for sea. And I had sustained, along with multiple cuts and bruises, the ire of the bosun because I didn't know the difference between a preventer and a topping lift. But by the time night fell and the Malay trader was plunging down the Atlantic coast, I knew one thing. The sailor's life is not for me.
but it's still Vera Cruz, but something screwy about it, Johnny. You develop a nose after you've snooped as many ships as I have. There's something wrong.
What? Besides my seamanship? The old man?
Yeah, a lot of little things. Of course, we're on for Florida Strait. Readings on the ballast gauges. Of course, the displacement ratio changes with different oceans and water temperatures.
Look, Al, that's all Greek to me. Ballast gauges, displacement ratio. Just what are these things that are about?
Well, I don't know. Just vague things. Look, come out on the porch, will you?
Yeah, shoot.
Probably just this overactive nose of mine, but... I want to get a look at one of these holes. Now, there's a hand standing lookout. And if you'll go up there and keep his attention, I'll slip into the escape hatch of number 2. All I'll need is about 10 minutes. I'll meet you in the cabin.
I made small talk with the lookout for 10 minutes, then started back towards the cabin. Suddenly, I heard a scuffle behind me.
Hey, Al, is that you?
And I heard someone running, and I started after them. But I didn't get very far. I stumbled over Al Roda's body by the open hatch. And there was a stab wound in the back of his neck, just at the top of his spine. It was small enough to have been left there by a penknife. I didn't report to the chief's mate or the captain. I went over both their heads and I pounded on the door of the owner, Mr. Peeler. Mr. Peeler?
Yes. One moment. What does this mean?
There's been a killing down on deck.
What do you say? Killing?
My watchmate, Al Roda.
This I do not believe. Captain or Mr. Holster, where are they? Why do you come to me?
Because I think a request from you is in order. I think Sparks ought to radio the Coast Guard. The sooner the better.
But the killing on my ship. To believe this from you? No, I do not. So what is that?
Man overboard, Mr. Peeler. A murder. Just been turned into an accident.
Just a moment, we return to the second act of Johnny Dollar. But first, Kitty Callan will join Vaughn Monroe's caravan along most of these same CBS stations this Saturday night. And on the CBS Gene Autry Show, the King of the Cowboys will bring you Ramona, When the Bloom is on the Sage, and many another Western favorite. The Vaughn Monroe Caravan and the Gene Autry Show are heard every Saturday night. Hear them tomorrow night in an hour of Top Pop and Sagebrush Symphonies. Now, with our star, Edmund O'Brien, we return to the second act of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Mr. Horstaff. Mr. Horstaff. Please come here, Mr. Horstaff.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Horstaff, there has been trouble?
Yes, sir. One of the crew fell overboard, sir.
Then talk with this young man. He speaks of killing.
Killing? No, it's you, Dollar. What's this guff about killing?
Al Roda. He was stabbed in the back of the neck. A small knife.
This man is either drunk or crazy, Mr. Peeler.
Yes, certainly.
Just stepped out on deck to check the running lights before I turned in. Saw the man leaning over the rail. He was sick. The ship rolled and he went over.
I guess that was a life jacket. What are you doing about the man overboard?
I'll thank you to remember your place on this ship.
I do, but I also remember Al Roda.
Doing what's prescribed by maritime law and changing my course to circle and search the area.
Yeah, how about the Coast Guard?
Be notified in due time. You'll either go to your quarters or get forward with the rest of the crew and look for this guy you're so worried about. Where are you going?
The radio room. Even I know the Coast Guard gets first bid.
You listen to me, Dollar. I'll have you up before a commission board and you'll never ship again if you don't obey my order. And the boilers. You
better get to your lifeboat station, Mr. Sealer.
Every time an explosion lifted the Malay trader up off the water, it lifted my stomach up with it. My heart must have been pounding, too, because I felt it high in my throat. And feeling that big seagoing box of steel plates and bolts shuddering under my feet, painted sweat on my forehead, and big, sticky splashes of real fear on my soul. This would be getting dead the hard way. But finally, the quivering of the ship came to a stop, calming down my own vibrations as it faded. Then the tub started to lift, giving me a new reason for keeping my mind off of taking a cut at Falstaff with the closest fire axe. The crew got panicky as a bunch of kids in a burning school. And while they pummeled with the lifeboats, I took a last running look at number 2 hold. There were still bloodstains on the deck where I found Rhoda. And next to them, besides the open hatch, I found something that Falstaff hadn't realized he lost, or hadn't had time to look for. His penman, pearl shell handle, with an anchor embossed in silver. I pulled back the top further, moved a few of the sectional hatch covers, and got a look into the hold. There was enough light to see the cargo, and enough smoke curled out to tell me the explosion had not been in the boiler. Yeah, I had a fine case, except it was going down under my feet, and I'd end up with everything but proof. It was shortly after dawn when the Malay trader finally settled by the bow and went into a final plunge. Everybody in the lifeboat turned and watched her go. The water quieted over her. The only traces left were the hatch covers I'd pulled loose.
Miss.
Yeah, this is it.
That'll be, 280.
Yeah, here you are.
Thank you.
Travis. Why'd my pallet dance off of there? That's the first time I've seen a pallet do something weird.
Who are you?
Page 1 and 3, line 22. Ship's articles, you remember? $1.
Newspaper. You're missing from shipwreck.
Yeah. The guy'd have to be stupid or dead to be lost on a sinking like that. Everything was too convenient. Plenty of time to get the boat. Only 4 miles from shore.
The paper said...
Yeah, they reported me missing because I didn't take time to report myself among the living. You see, I couldn't wait to get back to Savannah, get back to you and the king-size scheme cooked up in this office. Now, I'm not promising anything, but a quick signed statement might help you. I'll write it and you sign it.
Talk about scheme. What statement?
Oh, come on, stop it. Look, use the old sex pitch. Try to tell me that it'll be worth my while, but don't try to sell me innocent.
Darling, you think I know about something. Please, tell me what it is.
Look, if you're bluffing, you can quit. I know that explosion on the ship was staged. Now, the next step is to try to collect the insurance for the rubber that was lost. That's the step I'm supposed to start. Here. Here's my ID.
Oh, say, sorry. I'm not understanding. You are police?
Yeah, in a way. In a way, I'm the police. And the real ones aren't far behind.
You do not lie to me.
Look, I wouldn't have any reason.
This is cruel. I knew nothing about it. I too do not lie.
Why'd you think your father was taking this trip?
You did not question. You told me he had business in Corpus Christi.
Well, then Falstaff lied. Newspapers will tell you why your father took the trip. Here, look at this. Importer and fleet owner narrowly escapes death in explosion aboard his own ship. Now, who'd think of scuttling with the aged owner taking the risk himself, huh?
Darling, it's very difficult when in a few minutes two men you love come suddenly between us. I am only talking. Do not question my choice. If he did this thing, he did it with reason. Now, you heard me pursue.
Stop looking at me as if I started. Sorry. Honestly, I am. It's clear to me now that she wasn't lying. To hide my embarrassment, I read through the newspaper accounts of the sinking again while she recovered. There were air photographs of the huge oil slick the sinking ship had left on the surface. The only reminder now that the hatch covers had drifted away. The lack of wreckage was mentioned in the stories, and I remembered Al Rhoda worrying about ballast and displacement. I looked up the number of a local chemist and I made a phone call.
Hello?
Listen, Doc, this may sound like a silly question, but it could be important. Does crude rubber float?
Crude rubber? Do you mean perhaps latex?
Yeah, whatever you call it. The way it comes into the country, wrapped in rattan, will it float?
Oh, specific gravity. Wait, I think. It decreases as the temperature rises. You see, normally specific gravity is a little less than that of water. Yeah.
It would float.
Yeah, it floats.
In the hold of a sunken ship, the hatch partly open, it would force its way out and come to the surface?
Yeah, it floats.
Yeah, but it didn't. Thanks. Am I? How many warehouses does Malay Traders have here in Savannah? Here on the water, huh? Was anything moved out of them last night? After the ship left?
No, nothing was moved. Darla, what does this mean?
Am I want you to wait here in the office for your father. When he comes, I want you to tell him that I'll be waiting for him in one of the warehouses and that I know the truth. The Malay Trader warehouses were closed for the day, but my foot in a window opened. Both were stacked high with imported goods. I picked my way through everything from lychee nuts to ivory back scratchers. In the second one, hidden behind a wall of cotton Ceylon tea, I found what I was looking for.
Welcome to the world, baby boy. I'll paint you red and white.
They were unlabeled with crates. I opened one, and the resilient mass inside was crude rubber, still on dry land, and still insured.
All right, Dollar, hold it.
Hold what, hold that? There's nothing left to hold.
What do you mean?
That for me, everything is finished. Wound up. Time for the law. Unless you can make another switch with that rubber before they get me.
That rubber in the crate?
Yeah.
Been here for over a year.
Ah, come on. Let's not waste time. You and Pila and I know there wasn't any rubber in number 2 hold. You saved it to sell after you got paid off for losing it. I'll let the experts prove it.
What experts?
Oh, they got all kinds. You know, one group is going to nail you for murder.
That's very funny.
That's very funny. So is a penknife, a funny murder weapon. I found one on the Malay Trader on the deck near number 2 hold.
You've got a penknife, huh?
Yeah. With a pearl and a silver ring. You know, I guess at least 100 seamen will testify under oath that yours. I know I will. I only wish I could be 15 people when you hit the courtroom. The jury, the prosecuting attorney, the star witness, and the sentencing judge.
Well, you want to see me in a courtroom?
How do they execute down here, huh? Gallows, electric chair, gas chamber, what? Come on, tell me. Or do I have to look it up?
They'll have to have more than they've got.
Ah, they got plenty. All they have to do is match up the weapons for the wound.
Look, Dollar, I don't scare easy. I could make a confession. That still wouldn't hold without a body.
What do you mean, without a body?
They gotta have a body. Anyone, sir.
You're getting ahead of yourself, Holmes. Did I say they didn't have a body? Huh? You think those Coast Guard helicopter and blimp crews are flying?
Keep going.
You think a guy who's been a Marine investigator as long as Al Rhoda had
Went around without figuring how to do his job even after he was dead?
What are you talking about?
What do you think he wore around his middle? A money belt or a life belt that would keep him afloat?
Just stupid.
Give me the knife. It's not only a knife. It's Exhibit A. And the prosecution will want it.
Give me the knife. Kill you if I have to.
You don't want to shoot me, Wolfman. How do you know I've got the knife with me? How do you know I haven't left it someplace for the police?
Stand still. Now get your hands off to the side. Now hold them there. All right, now keep your hands still. Now just turn around. Don't move.
It wasn't time for Queensbury rules. He was close to me, and I used my feet. The first one landed on his shin. And the same movement, I fell forward on my hand and kicked out with both feet. Into the solar plexus would have stopped an ordinary man. And after I gave him a couple more, the big chief's mate turned into just that, an ordinary man. I turned Holstaff over to the police along with the murder weapon and the results of my blood. They took it from there to a confession. Mr. Peeler was cleared of responsibility for Al Roda's murders, now being held on conspiracy and fraud. I hope since the policy on the remaining cargo of rubber can now be canceled, Intercontinental is minimizing the monetary loss in Singapore. To you, the loss is a little more than $100,000. An operative. I have lost a friend. Expense account item 2, $3. Getting my foot on a bar and my chin off my chest while waiting for a train to take me out of Savannah. Item 3, $80. Transportation Savannah to Hot. Item 4, $10. Public stenographer who took the dictation on this expense account. Item 5, entertainment. Same public stenographer who spent the evening proving that social. She didn't take dictation. Also that she was no good at making me forget what I want so badly to forget. The face of Al Roda. Expense account total? Give it this one is on me. The Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, stars Edmund O'Brien in the title role and is written by Paul Dudley and Gil Dowd with music by Leith Stevens. Edmund O'Brien can currently be seen starring in Harry M. Thompson's United Artists production, DOA. Featured in our cast were Lillian Byatt, Martin Yarborough, William Conrad, Elliot Reed, and Robert Griffin. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, is produced and directed by Jaime Del Valle. Join us again next week when Edmund O'Brien returns in another adventure of
Truly, Johnny Dollar.
The Case of the Oblivious Angel. A true story of manhunt in Tennessee and Georgia is to be dramatized on Gangbusters this Saturday night. The story will have narration by the chief of police who directed the successful search for the bandits. So for a half hour of real adventure, as experienced by our forces combating crime, listen in this Saturday on most of these same CBS network stations to Gangbusters' story, The Case of the Oblivious Angel. This is Roy Roach speaking. This is CBS, where yours truly, Johnny Dollar, meets adventure every Friday night. The Columbia Broadcasting System.
Time now for Edmund O'Brien as Johnny Dollar.
Johnny, how soon can you get out to High Bridge, North Dakota?
North Dakota, huh? In the winter, you guys send me to North Dakota and the summit of Miami, Florida. All right, what's your problem?
We got two old duffers insured for a total of $80,000.
What's the matter? Somebody threatening to kill them?
No, they're threatening to kill themselves.
Edmund O'Brien, in another of the adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Home Office National Fidelity Life Insurance Company, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of my expenditures during investigation of your policyholders, Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Trump, or how the grave digger's spades came near being trumps. Expense account item 1, $113.52 railroad fare, Hartford, Connecticut to High Bridge, North Dakota. As I walked towards the station in High Bridge, the wind whipped white shawls of snow out of the night and around me like a Spanish dancer, and the raw cold had my teeth acting like castanets. Inside the shack, I found a potbelly stove surrounded by a potbelly station master. Hello?
Oh, hello. You are early customer?
Well, I'm the only one got off the train. Can I find a taxi around here?
Yep. As soon as my son gets the mail and freight tucked away, he'll take you. Only won't be any taxi cab. You drive to wherever you're going in the Pong. By the way, where are you going?
To the Trump residence. Do you know it?
Yep, I know it. You one of the family?
No, just business.
Oh. Well...
Well, what?
What is your business is none of mine. But, have you ever been out there before?
No, I haven't. Why, something wrong?
Well, if it ain't, then everybody in this town has been getting a lot of unnecessary exercise. Jumping to conclusions. Well, here comes the boy. He'll drive you over. Hickey!
Yeah?
Hickey, you got a customer for the Pong. Wants to go out to Trump Place.
Trump place? Well, all right. But, mister, I'll only take you as far as the gate. You say this your first visit, huh? That right, Mr. Dollar? Yep, that's right. Hey, how much more we gotta go? Oh, about another mile. You cold? Cold. Ooh, I'm freezing. Well, pack your arms around. Keep up circulation. Hey, does it always get this cold around here? Nope. Only in the winter. Say, Hickey. Yeah? You mind answering a few more questions? No, many answers. You're welcome to those. Well, what about this Trump place? Why is everybody around here scared of it? What is it, a haunted house?
Nope. As far as I know, everybody out there's live all right. Matter of fact, I'd feel better if some of the things out there was dead.
What do you mean?
Well, past year or so, I've been delivering some packages out there. Boxes coming express on the train. Some of them come all the way from Africa. Quite a few from India, too. All marked danger. All marked do not open. Deadly. Whatever comes in those boxes is alive.
What about the people, the Trumps themselves?
Oh, they look nice enough. Not on the old side. Old man Trump looks like a deacon. His wife looks like a deacon's wife. But they never seem to come to town, let alone church. Hey, that's funny.
What's so funny?
Well, look. They're on the road. Place auto track. Only one place to go out this way. Same place we're going. To the Trump house.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Those folks never have no visitors. Now it looks like they're having a lot. Hey, maybe they're having guests for dinner.
That's right. Maybe they are having guests in for dinner.
I didn't say in for dinner. I said maybe they're having guests for dinner.
Oh, that's some funny joke, that is.
Yeah. Well, here we are, right around the next bend.
Good. I'll tell you what, Hickey. When I get ready for you to drive me back, I'll give you a call on the telephone, huh?
Well, that'll be a good trick if you can do it.
What do you mean?
They don't have no telephone.
Expense account item 2, $1.50 tongue fare. Hybrid station to the gate of the Trump estate where the driver Hickey dumped me off. I used one of the fresh tire tracks as a footpath up the long driveway through the snow. And steaming the white flakes out of my eyes with my breath, I took inventory of the house. It was big, colonial, and in good repair. All rooms lighted downstairs, one room lighted upstairs. Near the front, the automobile tracks took off around to the back of the house. I had to make my own footsteps in the drifts from there to the front door.
Quickly, don't let that cold in. Let's shut the door. Now, who are you? What do you want? What are you doing here?
I'm Johnny Dollar from the insurance company. That's what I want to see Mr. and Mrs. Trump. That's what I'm doing here. I'm just the victim of a bad choice of careers early in life.
Well, all right. Take a seat over there. I'll go check with Mr. and Mrs. Trump. But don't bother taking your coat off yet.
So this is Northern hospitality. Coming in out of the cold makes any house seem warm, but my overcoat started to steam about 10 seconds after I got inside this one. So did I. Looking around, I saw the reason. There were potted orchids growing all over the hallway, and orchids grow only in tropical warmth. Despite the invitation not to, I took off my overcoat and waited. After 10 more minutes, I felt like slipping out of my suit, a decision I didn't have time to make.
They're just finishing dinner, Mr. Dollar. They suggest you join them for coffee. Follow me.
Thanks.
Mrs. Trump, Mr. Trump, this is Mr. Dollar.
How do you do?
How are you, Mrs. Trump?
Won't you join me? There, sit right over there.
Yes, Mr. Dollar, come and sit down. Have some coffee.
Oh, thank you.
It's fine. Now that'll be order when you may leave.
Well,
Fine. Now, sugar and cream, Mr. Dollar?
No, thank you, Mrs. Trump. This will be all right just the way it is.
Well, Mr. Dollar, I assume you brought the necessary papers?
Yes, I did. They're in my pocket all ready for your signature.
Good. We'll sign them right away.
Well, I was hoping you wouldn't sign them, at least until I'd had a chance to talk to you about it.
Talk to? What is there to talk about?
I hope you understand that, well, it isn't every day that an insurance company gets a letter from a pair of policyholders calmly stating that they are both planning to commit suicide.
Oh, no?
No.
Oh. Well, I suppose it is a bit out of the usual run of things, but there's nothing we can do about it. My goodness, we checked with our lawyer.
And he said we were perfectly within our rights.
Well, granted, you've had the policy a long, long time, and the suicide clause is no longer in effect. However, well, frankly, the company did send me out here in the hope that while I was arranging the change of beneficiary you requested, I could also talk you into changing your mind.
Mr. Dollar, you might just as well save your breath. Our minds are made up.
Mrs. Trump is right, Mr. Dollar. As soon as we get those changed beneficiary papers signed, we intend to dispose of ourselves.
Well,
And furthermore, young man, within the past 48 hours, we have had ourselves thoroughly examined by a board of extremely well-thought-out alienists who signed documentary proof that we are both perfectly safe. So there is nothing you can do to stop us in that direction.
But why? Why do you want to do this? Now, you don't look unhappy.
Oh, we're not.
We've had an extremely happy life, haven't we, Mr. Trump?
Indeed, we have, Mrs. Trump. And that's just it. You see, Mr. Dollar, we both feel that having enjoyed such a beautiful life, we owe the world something. And finally, we have evolved a method of paying our debts. In doing what we intend to do, we shall leave to the world the beginning of a new humanity.
What's the matter with the old one?
Nothing. But it is doomed to extinction. Mr. Dollar, just think of yourself. Atom bombs, hydrogen bombs, biological warfare.
And don't forget the flying saucers, Mr. Trump.
Don't forget, indeed, unknown objects, perfect space, interplanetary traffic, a prelude to invasion and destruction.
Now, wait a minute. How do you know? Who told you?
Mr. Dollar, Mr. Trump knows these things. He was a professor for many years, and he reads all the time. He knows all that.
Would you mind pouring me some of that coffee, Mrs. Trump?
Not at all. There.
Thank you. Mr. Trump, granted we're all doomed for extinction, how is knocking yourself off going to help? If you just stick it out, you'll not only enjoy a bit more time alive, but you'll also be around to see the fireworks.
You will notice, Mr. Dollar, that we are changing the beneficiary in our policies from our niece, Miss Hope Selden, to the young man who let you in here tonight, Mr. Irwin Harper.
Yes, I noticed that. And I also noticed that this young man isn't even related to you. Now, what's that all about?
My Hope is a frivolous girl. She laughed at us when we tried to tell her what happened. Irwin is a serious-minded young man who will use the money brought to this household by our passing to make the down payment on a new human race.
Mrs. Trump, do you happen to have any brandy around?
Later, Mr. Dollar, later. You want to know why and how.
That was a heavy load.
We'll show you.
A nightmare is bad enough when you're asleep, but I was awake, and that's when they're really frightening. They took me down through the back of the house to a winding, half-lighted stairway into the belly of the black hole. The oppressive heat grew even more oppressive. More stairs, then tunnels. All the ceilings cement and lined with lead. All the walls covered with pens and cages, and all of them filled with
snakes, Mr. Dollar. Reptiles, hundreds of them. Every species, every variety known to modern man. Look at them. Look at them and look at them well, for here is the new beginning. When life as we know it is blasted off the face of this earth, either by man himself or by his planetary cousins. When that happens, then these shall be the inheritors of this global sphere, as they were in the beginning, according to the Meston theory as set down in 1903.
Yes, Mr. Dollar, Mr. Trump knows these things, don't you see?
No, I've got to admit I don't quite see.
You will. There. Look. Every pen, every cage is equipped with an automatic feeding device. Stored above the cages is enough scientifically developed food to keep these reptiles alive for 100 years if need be. Until the Holocaust, they will be cared for by young Harper.
I could use an old Harper myself.
When the Holocaust comes, Irwin Harper shall survive as long as possible. Then the machines will take over. The reptiles will be fed. And when the recording devices up on top say that the radioactivity and magnetic forces have been dissipated, the doors of the cages leading to the earth above shall be automatically projected outdoors, and the cycle shall be complete. Then the reptiles will be set free on the face of the earth to once again evolve themselves into the new humanity.
I see. Look, Mr. Trump, I'm out here to ask you a very simple question. What's all this got to do with your committing suicide?
That is easily answered, Mr. Dollar. We need money. We need a lot of money to buy the rest of the equipment. We are willing to give up the little that is left of our lives to provide it. Irwin will remain behind to put our money to good use.
Mr. and Mrs. Trump, I don't question your motives, but you can't blame me for taking a second look at your methods. This man springing from reptile theory is flimsy enough, but That's your opinion, and you're entitled to it. But what you're not entitled to, and I'm quoting the Bible and the law, is the act of taking your own lives.
We've talked that over among us, and we are willing to take our chances.
All right. But at least you'll agree this is a whole lot to take in one sitting, isn't it? Now let me bring these papers back in the morning. We can talk it over once more, and then you're free to go ahead and sign it.
Well, time is short, but I don't think a few hours will matter. Do you agree, Mrs. Trump?
Oh, yes, I agree.
Good. Now, if you'll be kind enough to either let me have a car or have somebody drive me into town,
Car? We have no car. We haven't had one for months, and we've borrowed them from the property. Hasn't been one past the gate for almost a year.
Oh? Including tonight?
Yes, of course, including tonight. You'll just have to stay here.
Come now. We'll take you up to your room, Mr. Dollar. What you need is a good night's sleep.
Some crazy people.
I'd have had a better night's sleep on a tightrope. My room had the same sticky, hot air that filled the rest of the house. It may be great for snakes and orchids, but I'll take my steamings at a Turkish bath. I stretched out on the bed, turned off the lamp, and closed my eyes. But for 20 straight minutes, I could still see ghost automobiles and snakes and more snakes. I kept my eyes closed as much as I could because when they were open, I could see on the wall the serpentine shadows of the tree branches outside. At least, I hoped that's what they were. Then, just as I was hoping the hardest that the realest of them all wasn't what it looked like, out of the blackness from across the room I heard... I reached down under the bed for a shoe. Not much of a weapon, but all I could think of at the moment. Then I snapped on the lamp and saw it. It had plenty of coils, all right, but it was strictly non-venomous. The steam radiator standing there hissing my performance. But my nerve ends didn't even have a chance to lie down. They were still standing straight up when it happened. I was out of bed, across the room, and out into the hall in slightly more time than it takes to tell. The ray of light from my open door fell across a jumbled pile of beautiful young woman. I bent over her and...
In just a moment, we will return to the second act of Johnny Dollar. But first... Now, with our star, Edmund O'Brien, we return to the second act of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Mr. Dollar, wake up. You've been walking in your sleep.
Yes, you should be more careful.
Perhaps you need basic coma. Perhaps you need analysis. Learn what the basic coma is. What did he say, Mrs. Trump?
Sounded like he said, where is she? I'm right here, Mr. Dollar, right here taking care of you.
Oh. Yeah, somebody's been taking care of me, all right. Oh. Well, where is she, huh? She's gone. What have you done with her? Come on now, where's the...
Mr. Dollar, you better get hold of yourself. There is no girl here.
Oh, no? Well, look. Earlier tonight, you told me there was no automobile around here, but there was. I saw the tracks in the driveway with my own eyes. I walked in one of them.
All right. Look out the window, Mrs. Trump.
No, I don't see any tracks.
Do you see any footprints?
No, nothing, just snow.
Okay. At least you know I walked up that driveway, right? And my footprints are covered up. So it's been snowing, the wind has been blowing, it's been drifting. Now I suppose you're going to tell me you didn't hear the girl scream.
Come now, Mr. Dollar. You were having a nightmare. No girl scream.
Well, if you didn't hear anything, what are you doing out here? What brought you?
Young man, we have a right to be wherever in our own home we choose to be. But I might as well tell you, I found you when I started to the kitchen to get some crackers and warm milk. I found you lying here.
Yeah, everyone's lying around here.
Young man, that does it. Once we get those papers signed, I'm afraid we shall have to ask you to leave.
That's all right with me. They're here in my room. Come on.
The way some people stand in the way of the few of us who are making a genuine effort to sustain some kind of life on
Yes, Mr. Trump, you're absolutely right.
You'll find a pen there on the table. The papers are right here in my... Hey.
Yes, Mr. Dollar?
The papers are gone.
Well, how can they be gone if you brought them at all?
We warn you, Mr. Dollar, we will not stand for any more of your dilly-dallying. We want those papers, and now. We are determined to sign them immediately.
Suddenly, that has become my fondest hope. Now, do us all a favor. Go back to bed, and give me a chance to do a little walking in your sleep.
Alright, we got everything delivered. Say goodnight to Papa.
For a girl, and I'll admit this is a very unlikely place to find her.
I'll thank you to get out of my bedroom.
You realize how suspicious you look just lying there in bed?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean that about 15 minutes ago, a woman screamed at the top of her lungs not 20 feet from here. Now, what's your story? That you didn't hear it? Or does it happen around here all the time?
You're crazy. I didn't hear any woman scream, and I don't think you did.
Okay, have it your way. I'm hearing things. But one thing I know, I'm not feeling things. See here? There's a lump on my head? That's for real.
That doesn't interest me a bit.
If I find out you put it there, it'll interest you. I'll not only put an egg on your head, I'll make a whole omelet. In case you don't know it, you're looking at a citizen who's burned up. M-A-D. Mad.
It's doing something. I don't know.
From there, I started through the rest of the rooms in the house. I thought I knew who I was looking for. The only person I could think of who would profit by seeing those papers.
Alright, folks. We'll see you guys next time. I gotta go get some stuff done. Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in.
All I could find in the next 6 bedrooms was a lot of old-fashioned furniture. I was just looking under the bed in the last when the wind outside took on a new note. I ran back to my own room, flung open the window, and stuck my head out into the blizzard trying to get a look in the direction of the noise.